everybody? You know who it is. It is your allies behind enemy lines. Ryan and Joey coming at you from a thawed out Texas. We're still alive and kicking. It was a little touch and go there for a minute, but here we are. If you haven't listened to us previously, where have you been? But go ahead and check us out here on YouTube if that's where you're watching us, or you can find us anywhere podcasts are found. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all by searching at Allies Behind Enemy Lines. You can find us on Twitter at AlliesBL. We are on Facebook as well if you're of the older generation. But again, make sure you like, rate, subscribe, review on all those podcast platforms, whichever one you use. And if you're here on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and ring that notification bell. So as soon as we drop the latest and greatest heat, you are notified and you can watch it before anybody and be the cool guy with your friends. Joey, it was a crazy week last week. Like I said, this entire state of Texas was under a sheet of snow and ice. A lot of us in the dark, in the cold, without any water. It was a real wild ride, but like I said, we came out on top. How you doing, man? You getting back to normal life down there in Austin?
Getting back to normal. We got water restored on Saturday. It started puttering out in the morning and slowly worked its way back up throughout the day. We still got a boil notice going on down here, so that'll probably last us for another day. I'm thinking because they already unleashed some of the water here in Austin today. But yeah, it was insane. Like I said, it's unprecedented. These last within 12 months, these unprecedented times. Between the pandemic and the quarantine, and then to this snowpocalypse as we're calling it here in Texas, it's been insane. It was no water for days. It really lets you know how much water you use to flush the toilet. I'll tell you that much. I had collecting water outside with snow. And it takes 5 big pitchers of water to flush the toilet one time.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. So yeah, we had a bunch of stuff saved in here. Maybe a whole new perspective and appreciation for power and for water. So we're alive and kicking, man. We're alive and kicking.
That's what's up. That's good to hear. Yeah, one of my buddies that lives in Dallas, we were talking today, and they still don't have any water, but that was because one of the pipes in his apartment blew, and so there's like 4 of the 7 buildings or whatever in his apartment complex don't have water, and he's one of them. And he said the same thing. He was like, because they have a pool right next to their apartment, so him and his buddy are going down and filling up a bucket full of pool water and dumping that in the toilet. And he was saying, he's like, you really don't realize how much water you need until you just don't have it. And I told him, yeah, luckily we got water restored Thursday. But we were on a boil water notice as well for most of Thursday, and finally came back Friday. And so we've been back with water. We got electricity back Wednesday. So along with that came the heat and stuff. But yeah, it was, like you said, unprecedented, just wild times. Hopefully you never see that again. But if we do, I'm assuming the majority of people will be better prepared for something like that.
Yes, I mean, it's one of those stories we can tell the grandkids now. I remember when we had to put snow in our toilets to flush the toilets. It's definitely it was like camping at home. It was crazy.
Yeah, and we both know with kids it's like way different. Like it's so crazy with kids how you got to make sure that they're taken care of and that they got everything they need. And it's just this is my first time dealing with something like this with a kid. I'm sure it's your first time dealing with something like this as well, but you've had a little more practice with having kids for a few years. But I don't think anything prepares you for what we witnessed and what we had to withhold this last week.
Yeah, it's insane. Just keep your stuff charged all the time. Always have water on hand.
Literally, yep, exactly. No doubt. Well, like I said, we're now. It's a beautiful. I don't know what it is in Austin, but right now it's a beautiful 55 degrees, 60 degrees.
I'm in shorts. Yeah. So.
Same here. I am too. We were in shorts yesterday, so that's how quickly it'll flip. On Wednesday it was -1 degree. Yesterday it was 65 degrees here, so that was all in the 3 or 4 day span. Shout out Texas, but crazy times. But like I said, we're here, back better than ever. So we're gonna get into it. We're fully in mock draft season. Maybe getting a little bit of a late start. Quite a few publishers have released their mock drafts. Obviously they always have very many different drafts of their draft, and so we're getting into it. But what we're kind of planning to do is something a little more fun. Not just go and talk about, hey, this is who I want to draft here, make up, stupid trades and things like that. Maybe we'll make up some trades as we get into it. But what we want to kind of do is build a draft board little by little, and they may be similar, they may be different. I think a lot of our early picks may be a little different. I think our whole draft, honestly, might be a little different, which is good because it's going to cause some good talking points and things that I feel like we need to address versus what you think we need to address and things like that, where we could add depth in the later rounds. So I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good time. Again, plenty of talking points for you, the fans, to sound off in the YouTube comments. Hit us up on Twitter again at AlliesBEL. Tell us how dumb we are, or tell me how genius I am for all my smart picks that I'm going to put on the draft board, whichever one works best. But we'll go ahead and get into round one. So we're going to start off with our first round pick, 19th overall. A lot of different ways we can go. I've seen a ton of different mock drafts that have gone different ways. But I'm going to go ahead and let you receive the kick on this one. And you start us off, Joe. Where do you think? I think we all know where you want to go, but we'll go ahead and go see what you got.
Well, where do you think I want to go? I don't think I'd put it out there that much to have what my thoughts were on that position. But I mean, if we still have this pick, depending on what goes on as far as trading scenarios and whatnot, I think that it's got to be. We've talked about the offensive line help. Possibly having another tackle, and I think it boils down to what's available at that time. And I've ran a couple mock drafts myself. And I would love to get a linebacker. And we said that, I guess that's probably what you're leaning towards, the linebacker. Yeah. That's something that I would love to have there. I do not see, I think Micah Parsons might be the only one that, and he might fall eventually. As I've been watching more and more, some attitude issues have been coming out about him as well. So who knows? He might end up falling to us. But if he's there, you take him. Yeah. If he's there, you take him. No questions asked. I mean, attitude issues, we've had that problem. We had the concern with Darius Guice, didn't really pan out. So it is going to be something that we're going to have to address. It's something he's going to have to, hold himself accountable for, explain for, basically in the pre-draft process, either come out with some statements or what he's doing to get better at that. But other than that, it's going to be, if for some reason he does slip into the fall, it's going to have to be a tackle. And I think that's going to be the best position, or the best position we can fill at that time with what's going to be available. So I think we've talked about the guy from Alabama, but I did a mock draft and I can't remember. Was it Missouri that has somebody there? Do you have a thing in front of you right now? I don't have the thing in front of me.
I don't have a big board in front of me. I have a couple of the guys. So there's I don't want to give away my picks, but there's Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. There's Jalen Mayfield from Michigan. There's another fellow from Northwestern who I had my eye on. Rashawn Slater. So that's who that was. Those were some of the tackles.
Rashawn Slater's who I had in my first draft. Okay. Rashawn Slater from Northwestern. That's who I had. I just pulled up my entire first or my latest mock draft, and that's who I had in the first round was Slater.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great pick. So my top choice would be between him or Christian Darrisaw. Listening to Mel Kiper and Todd McShay, both of these guys can come in and start day one as tackles. There's some question about Rashawn Slater, and when I say question, it's just that he could probably play all 5 spots on the offensive line. They said he might move to guard. He could definitely play center. So but they said Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech, he could come in and be a day one starter at tackle. And that's what I would like to see. I mean, we see a guy like Tristan Wirfs who comes in and makes a big statement. His first year, plays all 16 games for the Bucks. The Browns drafted a tackle this year who had a really good season for him. Rookie year that started at tackle. I forget his name off the top of my head right now, but so like you can
Wyatt Teller. Was it Wyatt Teller, or he was the guard?
Wyatt Teller? I think he was the guard. I could probably look it up real quick, but so you can see these young guys come in and make a statement and solidify a spot, boom, like that. And so, and that's what I've been harping on this whole time is tackle, offensive line help. Regardless of who we have back there taking the snaps, although the offensive line played much better towards the end of the year, not even towards the end, and in the middle half to the back end of the season, they played much better. But I still think there's plenty of room for upgrade. There's a lot of guys that can do on our roster right now. There's guys that can do things well, but I don't think there's really any standouts, obviously, other than Scherf And I'd even throw Chase Roulier in there. I mean, he's been a very solid center for us since we brought him in. So those two guys have been very solid for us. But everybody else,
I think Schweitzer earned himself a nod this year as
yeah,
well.
absolutely. Yeah, Schweitzer, I think he needs to come in and he should be the starter at guard too, opposite of Scherf. So those tackle spots is really where we need to see the upgrade. And if you can have good tackle play with the way the edge rushers are in the league right now, I mean that's huge. It's huge if you can get a couple guys that can protect the edges and set up the pocket for your quarterback, especially if we have a guy like. I mean, I'll go ahead and throw it out there. If Heineke's playing quarterback, that can step up in the pocket a little bit. He's not afraid to move around the pocket. If we got a guy like Dak who can run, who can step up in the pocket, so if you just give him a little bit of extra time, if we have a guy like Russell Wilson who we might trade for, he's never played behind a good offensive line. So, that kind of stuff like that, I think would be a huge boost for this team. And obviously it'd help the running game too. If we can add a tackle that adds some real substance to this offensive line.
Definitely. I mean, I think that we've used this analogy over and over again. I know I use it a lot, so I don't know how much I've used it on here. Probably a lot, but it seems like at our tackle position, you just talked about. I think we're good in those guards in that center position, but our tackle position, it's like we got a bunch of Robins again, and we need a Batman. We need a Batman tackle. I think Morgan Roses was a great Robin to Trent Williams' Batman, and I think that Jerron Christian, we had injury concerns on that left side. And who's the other? Sadiq Charles, is that the rookie we brought in as well? I think that, amongst them, between them two, we probably have another good Robin, very powerful two powerful Robins. But get one of those Batman tackles will be so essential in getting to be able to run this scheme the way we want to, be able to run the ball, quick passes, long passes to hold the time down the ball. If a quarterback wants to be mobile, as you said, we'll have the ability to do that. But with that being said, something that came across, I saw a couple days ago, I think it was about with the possibility of Russell Okung possibly coming into a Washington uniform. What? First of all, what would you think about that? Obviously, and second of all, if there's no Michael Parsons, and if we get Russell Okung before the draft, how does that change this pick?
Well, I believe he just re-signed with Seattle, if I remember correctly. So we'd have to trade for him. So if we're trading for him, I hope we're getting Russ with him as well. Now, a funny story is Russell Okung is the guy that I wanted Washington to draft when he was drafted, but instead we ended up with Trent Williams. And I think as the two, careers go, I think Trent Williams had the better career. So I think we actually won out on that pick. So I don't hate the Russell Okung move. I wouldn't hate it. But again, it's not a guy that I'm, jumping for joy over. It's like, okay, hey, that's a solid tackle. That's a guy that can get the job done. But it's nothing that really sparks like a lot of excitement from me. Like, and it's funny that I would say that about a veteran tackle who's played well in this league, but like a rookie, I guess just because of the what ifs, like who knows, the unknown of this rookie, who could he be great, excites me a little bit more, which probably doesn't make sense, but it probably also does make sense to a lot of people. Like you kind of know what you're gonna get with Russell Okung. You take a Rashawn Slater, you take a Christian Darrisaw, whoever it may be, there's a little bit more excitement because it's like, hey, this is our guy, and who knows what's going to happen. Let's see. I'm kind of excited of what the possibilities are. Pretty much in the same situation that we are with Taylor Heineke. Like, who knows what we're going to get? Are we going to get what we saw against the Bucs, or are we going to get a guy that went undrafted out of Old Dominion and was taking classes before he got signed to our team? I mean, it's just, who knows? The excitement of not knowing is what adds to it. So, that'd be fine. There's been talks about Trent Williams maybe coming back to Washington, which, I mean, I wouldn't hate that. But again, doesn't really incite a lot of excitement in me because he's an older guy. So we're going to be in the same position, down the road.
Injury prone.
So I'd rather take a chance on a rookie. As weird as that sounds, with as many young, talented guys as we have right now, I don't think the youth movement would be a bad movement to go with because we have enough of those veteran leaders, or even just these young leaders like Chase Young. I mean, we've mentioned that time and time again. These young leaders as well as the veteran leaders, it's a good mix. So I don't know that either of those moves really, like I said, really get me going as much as they normally would.
Okay, and then I'm throwing another scenario on you as well as things unfold. And I know Orlando Brown, he's talked about getting out of Baltimore with the whole Ronnie Staley, wanting to play left tackle position. Now, it's going to cost to get someone like that, and then obviously, I know me and you are holding out hope that we might be able to land like somebody a franchise quarterback here before the start of the season, whether that be Sam Darnold, I think it's who we're kind of narrowing in on, or Dak Prescott or Russell Wilson, someone like that, Deshaun Watson, someone like that lands. Obviously, if any of those don't happen, I mean, would you be willing to spend what it takes? And then again, back to the original question I asked you with Russell, was it Okung? I always called him Okong. Okung? Yeah, Russell Okung. But my bad, Russell. But how does that change this pick? Then again, we don't have a line. Now what are we focusing on if you get those two things out of the way?
So if we make moves in free agency or we make a trade, say if we get Orlando Brown, we're probably gonna have to trade this pick anyway. Mm-hmm. So that kind of takes it out of it. I would assume we'd have to give up a first round pick for a guy like him. So that
you would.
I would give up the first round pick for Orlando Brown. Yeah, absolutely, because he's still a young enough guy. He's already played well in this league. I can't ignore the fact that he has great lineage. His dad was a stud forever in the league. So you got to assume that he was raised around the game. He knows what it takes. He knows the business side. He knows what it's like to have to go after it. His dad won a Super Bowl, so he's going to want to do those things and achieve those goals. You can only assume. But I would give up that first pick absolutely for Orlando Brown Jr. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
How about you?
Yeah, I definitely. I think that, as you said, the proven factor is almost priceless in the NFL. Obviously, he hasn't had any injury concerns. He's young, and has proven well in this league. And protecting a quarterback, Lamar Jackson. You're going to protect all types of quarterbacks. And you can protect a pocket and a guy that's going to do anything unexpectedly there. So I would definitely be on board with that. Another position, I guess, what I was trying to reach for, what would be your third position then, I guess, as far as if Micah Parsons isn't there, for some reason we land somebody that doesn't take away our first round draft pick. So what would your third spot be here? Because it looks like we're kind of stuck on tackle. I think that we both think we're going to land there if we keep this pick. But if these tackles fall off the board, what are we going to do?
I think the next pick is wide receiver. I think that's where a lot of people have us going. A lot of guys have us taking Kadarius Toney out of Florida. Smaller guy. He's around 6 feet tall. Right around 200 pounds, maybe a little bit lighter than that. But Kadarius Toney's kind of been the top pick that I've seen of people, sticking us with. I've also seen a couple mock drafts where they've had Jalen Waddle falling to us. So I think that's dream scenario. I don't think that happens. So those are probably top two guys. I've seen Rondell Moore, wide receiver out of Purdue. He's 5'9", 180, so a slot guy for sure. The one that intrigues me the most, that's most realistic, is probably Kadarius Toney, just because in listening to the way a few guys have been talking about him, like a Todd McShay, Todd McShay is the guy that I look to a lot. I really like the work he does. He really breaks it down. He'll tell you when he's wrong. He'll tell you when he's right. So I that's the one guy that I really follow quite a bit. But he said Kadarius Toney is the type of guy that we kind of see. He said he compared him to Deebo Samuel, where it's like he may not be the crisp route runner or the go get the ball guy, but get the ball in his hands and you can use him in so many different ways. And I would love that. I think that's a great if we could take a Kadarius Toney, put him in the slot in between Terry McLaurin and maybe like an Allen Robinson, again, dream scenario, but still, that's lethal right there. Whoever our quarterback is should be able to handle that, whoever it may be. But I think so if we do that, that takes away, I think, the Curtis Samuel pick, because Curtis Samuel is very similar to Kadarius Toney and Deebo Samuel, the type of where they're just an offensive weapon. Again, just get the ball in their hands and let them work, whether it's an end around, whether it's a screen pass where you just dump the ball off and let him cook after that. So I think that's kind of where I'd be going towards is wide receiver. Like I said, if we are going to go wide receiver, Kadarius Toney is my first pick. Other than Jalen Waddle, if we could get Jalen Waddle, you take him 9 times out of 10 or 10 out of 10 times. But I don't see that happening. I don't see him falling out of the top 10 or 12. So if we can't get Jalen Waddle, if we can't get Devontae Smith, which again I don't think we're going to, but again a lot of guys have him falling like 15 or 16. Kadarius Toney is the pick over Rondell Moore out of Purdue. What about you?
I agree. That's who I was going to get to, as a receiver out of Florida, Toney. it definitely fills a need that we know we're wanting to fill anyway in the offseason. And I think with the line, the linebacker, and the that slot wide receiver, that kind of versatile wide receiver we've been looking for, I think he fits that mold perfectly. And so I think that obviously if we don't have concerns at tackle, or I mean, let's put it to you this way then. So if Waddle does fall, Devontae Smith does fall, you take them over at tackle.
Man, yeah, I do.
Okay, that's so. All right,
actually, oh man, I guess it depends on what we've done in free agency. I mean, okay, so
I mean, we've done that. If we don't have a need a tackle in free agency, we don't need a tackle. You know what I mean? So it's
right.
But I'm just talking about everything, all things being even.
Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith sitting there. I mean, then when Devontae Smith is getting Marvin Harrison comparisons, you don't pass up Marvin Harrison, right? You don't pass up Marvin Harrison. So, yeah, you know what? I think I go wide receiver. I think I go if all things equal, if those two guys are there, if tackles are there, I think you go wide receiver. Okay. Just because you don't pass up Marvin Harrison.
And you don't pass up Marvin Harrison. And what about Micah Parsons thrown in that mix?
I think we go wide. I think I'd still go wide receiver.
Oh man, I don't know if we can pass on Micah Parsons, man. I don't know if we need a linebacker. I mean, think about what's in free agency. Again, all things being, what's available in free agency as a wide receiver, what's available in free agency as a linebacker. There ain't nothing out there past Levante David, and Levante's agent has to know that.
He has to know. He just won a Super Bowl. That dude's
like I said last time, he just won a Super Bowl. We're not going to get no discount on him. I don't think the Bucs are going to get no discount on him. So we're gonna have to, again, that's gonna be our big move. You know, every team gets a big, I think one big, especially with the fifth most salary cap space in the NFL. You know what I mean? That you're gonna be allowed one big move, I think, and that would be it. You know, that definitely would be it.
Yeah, so. and then you'd probably sink your salary cap, to get a guy like that. So I'd still go wide receiver. Just sue me. I mean, because okay, look at it this way. Without Micah Parsons, we are still the number 2 defense in the league, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm cool with that. I mean, we can go to number 1, but I mean, how much of an improvement would that really be? But if we could go from to a top 5 offense with a guy like Devontae Smith or a guy like Jalen Waddle, I'll take that. Because that'll improve.
You think they make a difference regardless of who's behind center? That's the only X factor there with that is that depends a lot on who's throwing you the ball. Middle linebacker, it don't depend on nothing. It depends on you getting out there and kicking some ass.
Yeah, no, I mean it definitely does, but at the same time, it's like if you have guys like you guys have like a Terry McLaurin and a Devontae Smith, and if we keep Steven Sims around, like. You just get rid of the ball. You know what I mean? Like just get rid of it. Like you can snap it and just, be looking over here and chuck it up that way. 9 times out of 10, one of those guys is probably going to come down with it. Maybe not Steven Sims, but whether it's Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle or Terry McLaurin, like those guys, like they're going to come down with the ball, right? So, as long as it's not Trubisky or Winston back there throwing passes, I feel pretty confident that our wide receivers are going to come down with it.
What are you talking about? Well, Winston had 2,000-yard receivers just 2 years ago, but he'll get it to the receiver. Just get to the other guys.
He'll also get it to the linebackers too.
Yeah. He'll be throwing it to Micah Parsons too. Forget he's not on his team. But so you're basically, from what I've gathered from what you just told me, then wide receiver is our top needed choice, our top choice.
Well, no, if it's those 2 guys that are there.
Okay.
But they're not going to be there. So my top choice is a tackle with
what we have
or Slater, and then after that, it'd be like Darisaw, Slater, and then like Kadarius Toney down here. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it's not close. Tackle is my number 1 focus, unless it's like I said, the big 2 Bama guys, which I don't know that'll happen, but still
I'll tell you my dream scenario for that 19th pick, and that's not to have it, because that means we made a good move and got somebody great. So that's number 1 for me. That pick is gone. Secondly, we're going to take that tackle. I think who do you want to put on the board then? I think we're pretty set on tackle.
Yeah, why don't we make we'll have two separate drafts. So we'll have yours and we'll have mine.
All right. Oh, okay. We'll have yours. Well, mine's gonna have. I guess mine's gonna have. Oh, where did it go? I just deleted my what's his name?
Rashawn Slater.
Rashawn Slade. I was gonna say. I was gonna say Dickenshaw, but that's not his name. Well, that can't be right. I would have made fun of that name a long time ago. But yeah,
that would not have slipped by me. That name would not have slipped by me.
That name would not have slipped by me. I've been calling everybody that by now. But yeah, so I'll take Slater. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Christian Darrisaw, a guy 6'5", 315. I mean, if scouts, guys that get paid for a living, say that he can step in and be a starting tackle in the league right now, that's going to be the guy I want, for Washington to take.
All right. Well, I'll get this.
They said either tackle too, so I mean either tackle spot. So we, just because we draft him doesn't mean we could, maybe snatch somebody else up, or just because we signed somebody doesn't mean we can't still take him there. But yeah.
All right, we'll go. I'll keep that going then. I'll have that written down. We'll have our board up for you guys next time, so you guys can take a look at it. As we add to it and adjust it as things happen in free agency, obviously we reserve the right to go back and change things. If obviously we land one of those tackles or land a wide receiver, and I guess it'll just be tackle or our pick goes away with the only thing that would change this pick right now. So awesome, man. There we have it. So our first pick as we have it is me with Slater and you with Dickenshaw. Is this his name now? That's his name until I remember it correctly. That's good. All right, buddy. Well, I love it. And I was watching a Good Morning Football this morning, and they're talking about ideal. Obviously, they're all over they hadn't covered the Carson Wentz trade yet, so they're all over that. And so what do you think that does to our division as far as?
I think it makes it worse because it makes it worse for the Eagles, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So, because I guess they even somebody that's close to the Eagles said that it's not for sure that Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback either. So they're going to be taking a rookie maybe. Where they have the 6th pick, I believe.
Yeah, 6. Trey Lance is what I've been hearing is probably going to be the one that falls to them if it goes as what everyone's thinking.
Yeah. Trey Lance. I mean, that'd be tough going 2 North Dakota State guys back to back when you take quarterbacks in the first round. But
people wanting us to go Ohio State for Justin Fields as well. I'm like, no, did you guys learn? He's already hanging out with Dwayne Haskins. Have you seen the tweets? They're already hanging out. Yeah. You don't want to get any of that rub off on him. So
no, I'm good on that. Yeah, I'm good on all that. But no, yeah, like I said, it's definitely going to make it worse for them until they get some offensive weapons. That's why I think they should probably, if they should get a Jamar Chase, maybe a Jalen Waddle, somebody that can make an impact for whoever is going to be the quarterback back there.
They tried with what was it? Arcega Whiteside. They tried with Jalen Reagor. Are they going to try for a receiver again? I don't.
Well, see, that's the thing too. Is like they like every time. That's true. Every time they took a wide receiver, like they took. Not the best wide receiver, you know what I mean? Which is crazy. So, they did it with
everybody passed on Metcalf. So everyone that took a receiver that year passed on Metcalf.
Right, yeah, but who was the Nelson Aguilar? I know that's going way back to the Chip Kelly days, but he wasn't even the best wide receiver on the board when they drafted him. So it's like I said, they're always just drafting the wrong guy. So that's probably maybe that's the GM's fault, Howie Roseman up there. But so I think that's what they need to address first is maybe some offensive help. Did you know they haven't drafted a Pro Bowler in 7 years?
Yeah, I was just shocked that that's being swept in. Yeah, I heard that as well. That's crazy. But we forget how much they gave to get Carson Wentz. Not to mention the largest dead cap space in NFL history.
Yeah.
So what has that team lost? Everybody makes fun of us for the RG3 trade, but that Carson Wentz trade for that pick was no different.
Yeah.
It was no different. It was 2 firsts. It was 2 firsts, a second, and a third. I think we did 2 firsts and 2 seconds, didn't we?
Yeah.
But still, we didn't get $36 million cap hit for when we got when we did part ways with RG3. So it's definitely we never gave him the second contract, So
right, yeah, and it's both quarterbacks in that draft, Goff and Wentz. Both teams traded up, gave up King's ransom to get that pick, And
Within
obviously the
17
Rams.
days, within 17 days, they were both traded.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. They both get the big contracts, and then the Rams end up having to pay, a lot to get rid of them because of that big contract. Luckily, the Colts, they didn't have to give up anything for Wentz. It was crazy. They may have to lose a first round pick, but that's fine. You're expecting to be in that 20 to 30 range anyway with Carson Wentz, so that's no sweat off your back. Yeah, it's crazy. Both those guys, both the Eagles and the Rams, gave up a ton.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams, I think, obviously made out better in their draft or
definitely.
in their trade, but the Eagles, like, what are you guys doing up there? I mean, shout out. In what, 3 years removed from a Super Bowl?
Shout out Howie, man. Keep it going, buddy. Keep it going.
Unreal, man. It's so crazy. But yeah, so I think it's funny because, like I said, I think it's gonna. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna play out well for them. I think Jalen Hurts has something, but if they give him the chance, I guess that'll be seen, for sure, one way or the other.
Definitely, and and everyone, and just to piggyback off that. That story did lead to like the rest of the division, the quarterback position. Obviously, the Giants are cool with Daniel Jones, we believe, but it just gets reiterated how Sam Darnold is just like we are the perfect place for him. We are exactly what he needs, and all the analysts agreed on that. So I definitely think that is a talk that, I mean, we got 2 seconds and a third. I think we can give up a second and a third. I think that would get it done. A second and a third, and I think that's great. I mean, think about it. We're giving up a third round pick. Basically, we have 2 seconds. We'll still have a first and a second, and we still can get that tackle. We can still get that wide receiver, and we'd have Sam Darnold calling signals back there, which I think would be amazing.
Agreed. No, agreed. Yeah, I think that'd be great. Dak Prescott's my number 1 pick still. He's my first choice. I don't think Deshaun
But we still have our
happening.
salary cap too. The only thing is the salary cap. We lose everything with him, but we're going to be mortgaging our future is the term that Marty Herney used over and over again. He will not mortgage the future for a quarterback. So that, to me, that almost takes those kind of quarterbacks out of the realm if he's going to stick to his word, because you're going to have to mortgage your future if you want Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, or Dak Prescott. I think the only one that fits in there perfectly, as they said, was Sam Darnold. Absolutely. Still on that rookie contract, baby.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that was fun. Like I said, it did spark quite a bit of conversation off of just the mock draft. There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, and that's what it is. The fun of this offseason, all speculation. So we'll go ahead and we'll actually, I think this is what we should do. We'll post our picks on a poll on Twitter. Pick which one you guys think is best, or which one you like the best, and maybe we'll throw in like an other. So we'll say, hey, do you like Darisaw? Do you like who's Rashawn Slater? Or is there somebody else that you'd like to pick? So we'll give you 3 options there. If you like somebody else, let us know down in the comments, and maybe we'll make like a listeners mock draft too. Hopefully we get enough of you guys to listen and give us some feedback there.
There we go. We give the people their draft. Give the people's draft board.
The people's draft board, yeah.
Yes. Right on, buddy. Sounds like a plan to me.
That's awesome. Well, as always, like I said, check us out here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave some comments down below. Just let us know how we're doing. Check us out anywhere you can find podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. Tell a friend. Check us out on Twitter at Allies Behind Enemy, or at Allies BEL, excuse me. And then Facebook is Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Until Friday, we will come back with our round 2. Barring any blizzards or anything like that we don't,
or late breaking news we got to cover.
Yeah, true. So until then, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We see you guys then. Take care. Have a good week.